Right now at 5, new details emerge in the death of a Dodgeville woman as bond is set in Nebraska for the man suspected in her murder. And the state putting more money than ever into special education. But tonight, why local districts are still struggling to cover the needs of their students. And it's the Dane County Fair this weekend. We'll take you live to the Alliant Energy Center for a preview of the festivities. And we welcome you to News 3 now at 5. I'm Eric Franke. Susan Simon is off this week. The man accused in the death of a missing Dodgeville woman has now been charged. 23-year-old Gavin Thompson appeared in court today. Officials in Nebraska have charged him with operating a car to avoid arrest, removing, hiding remains, and theft. He allegedly led police on a chase in Dorinda Segebrecht's car. After police arrested him, they say they found her remains in that vehicle. We also heard from Iowa County officials, including the sheriff, just hours ago.
The Segebrecht family, we extend our deepest condolences and our heartfelt appreciation. This has been an incredibly painful time, and we know that the pace of the investigation did not always allow for every question to be answered at the moment. Despite that, you stood with us.
Iowa County Sheriff's officials say Thompson will likely be extradited to Wisconsin next week. Janesville police have identified the man who they say shot 3 people before taking his own life at an apartment complex last month. Police say Javarius Wicks shot and killed Haley Lounsbury, Julius Vicker, and Scott Roberts. It was on June 17th. Officers add one of the victims had a prior relationship with Wicks and was at the apartment to retrieve some personal belongings when he started shooting. An investigation into that incident is still ongoing. A man is dead after a rollover crash. It happened last week in Richland County, where the sheriff's office says it was reported July 11th. The vehicle traveling westbound on US 14 left the road, rolled into a ditch. This was near Moore Drive there. The driver, 47-year-old Donald Foster, was found trapped under the vehicle. He was taken to a hospital where he later died. Deputies believe alcohol and poor road conditions due to heavy rain were factors in the crash. Storms set to return to the region overnight. Meteorologist Blaze Keller joined us now. Blaze, are we talking severe weather here?
We are. We do have a marginal as well as a slight risk. So an isolated chance in the green to a scattered chance for severe weather there in the yellow. As we are coming off the heels of an active Wednesday, we had 2 days to relax, and now we're getting ready for possibly another chance for severe weather. This is thankfully going to hold off until the early morning hours going into Saturday, but that also could be a bit of a problem because it is going to be at a time when most of us will be sleeping. So just make sure that you have a way to receive weather alerts. You can download the First Warn Weather app to get those sent directly to your phone. Those storms moving out of the La Crosse area between 3 and about 4 o'clock in the morning, and they'll continue to push south and eastward as we go into that 7 o'clock time frame, 6, 7, 8 o'clock time frame on Saturday, and continue to further push south and eastward into the late morning hours on Saturday. In terms of threats, we're looking at strong winds as the greatest threat. We'll go over all of them here to give everybody peace of mind. Then that will be followed by some large hail as well as some heavy rain as we go into the early Saturday morning time frame. This is the tornado threat on Saturday morning. While we don't have a threat over us, again, just make sure that you have a way to receive weather alerts because we could possibly see a brief weak spin up, and we never want anybody to be caught in a dangerous situation. So we will continue to make sure that we are watching this throughout the overnight hours, and of course through Saturday morning. Jacob will be in, and we'll talk about the Ring of Fire setup that we are going to be entering as we go into next week in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Back to school already creeping up on us. Ahead of the start of the next school year, Madison School Superintendent Dr. Joe Gothard joined us on an edition of For the Record. Our political reporter Will Keneally joins us now with a preview of that conversation. Will?
Well, Eric, it's this interim between the state budget getting passed and when local districts are putting their budgets together. Now, here's a quick crash course on how local districts get their funding. There are some things that they need to fund, like special education, for example. Now, they get some money from the state government. Otherwise, they turn to local taxpayers. And we asked Gothard about that dynamic.
In Madison, 10.7% of our costs come from state aid. So we have to go to our taxpayers to make up that difference. You know, that 10% doesn't go very far. So that's why we've had to continue to go to referendum for our operational, resources.
Now, overall, Gothard tells us that he gives the state budget a C when it comes to local funding. Now, this is part of an expansive one-on-one sit-down that we have with Gothard, and you can see more of it this Sunday on For the Record, including us pressing Gothard for answers on allegations that he directed the misuse of COVID funds when he worked up in the St. Paul district in Minnesota. That's ahead this Sunday at 10:30, right back here on News 3 Now.
All right, Will, thank you. And to help fund schools like the Madison district, state support for special education funding is seeing its biggest increase in nearly 3 decades. The state biennial budget passed earlier this month provided nearly $1.4 billion for schools. But as our Ellie LaLiberte shows us, public school advocates say it is not enough.
Right now, the state reimburses special education costs at roughly 30%, but this biennial budget will raise that to 42% the first year and 45% the second. But public education advocates say that's only half of what they're looking for. By law, schools are required to support students that have special needs. However, public school advocates say without a full reimbursement, schools may need to take money to support those students out of the general education fund.
What we're seeing is this rise in referendum because our school districts don't have extra money just lying around. And so in order to increase the revenue that they have available for things like special education reimbursement, as well as other projects, let's just say capital projects or remodeling, like replacing a roof, you will find that school districts will need to go to a referendum.
That does include Madison, where voters approved more than $600 million on 2 separate referenda questions in November. MMSD Superintendent Joe Gothard said at a press conference last week that even with this increase in funds, a lack of adequate support from the state could mean another referendum in the future. Reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. And also included in the state budget is $30 million towards school mental health programs. Well, if you missed out on seeing Wicked at Overture Center, we have some good news. A matinee performance has been added for next week. That matinee is scheduled for Thursday, July 24th. It'll be 1 p.m. That announcement comes after Tuesday's performance of the popular show had to be canceled due to an unforeseen water shutoff at the venue. An Overture spokesperson says those who held tickets for Tuesday's performance automatically had their tickets transferred to the new Thursday show. Those who can't make that new performance time will be able to request a refund or exchange their tickets for another performance if seating is available. The Dane County Fair is back. Music, food, and animals taking over Alliant Energy Center this weekend, and that's where we find our Tanisha Shaw right now. Tanisha?
Hey, Eric, I'm here at the Dane County Fair. And one thing about every fair that you've ever been to, it is amusing, okay? So I'm here with Jacob. He's a part of the DeForest Handy Helpers, and we have a friend right here. What's her name?
Jinx.
Huh?
Jinx.
Okay, so Jacob, first of all, Jacob has been dealing with cattle his whole life. He's one of the people that's a part of bringing all these cows here to the Dane County Fair. Tell me about the program and how it feels to have been around cows pretty much all your life.
I mean, it's fun to be around calves my whole life because, I mean, they're nice and friendly, they're cute. And the program here, it starts with young youth kids in 3rd grade up to 18 and 19-year-old kids.
And what's your favorite part about being here?
I mean, just seeing the people have fun at the fair. I mean, I'm having fun every day, so.
She's looking right at me. She's kind of scaring me, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna leave her be. Okay, so when you see people that come to the festival, especially those little kids, and they're so in awe by these animals, how does that feel to know that you are in the process of helping bring them here to Dane County?
I mean, it feels good because you get to teach kids about agriculture, and many of them live in the city and they don't really get to see animals like cows, pigs, or sheep.
And again, guys, Jacob, you're only 16, right?
Yep.
And how long have you been dealing with cattle?
My whole life.
His whole life, y'all. So Jacob is not new to this. He is very true to this. And, you know, we're here with this cow, and it's a whole bunch more. This is just a little glimpse of the animals in the agriculture, the beautiful agriculture here in Dane County that you can experience here at the Dane County Fair. Eric, I'm going to bring it back to you. Tonight at 6, though, we have some salsa dancing, and we're going to talk about some tasty food. We're giving you the whole Dane County Fair experience.
All right, look forward to that. No reason to be afraid of the cow, by the way, Tanisha. It won't hurt you. Still to come on News 3 Now at 5, flooding threatens millions along the Gulf Coast now. We'll give you the latest there. And President Trump orders the release of information related to Jeffrey Epstein after pressure mounts from both sides of the aisle. And on Wall Street today, the markets end with mixed results. The Dow falling more than 142 points, but the Nasdaq closes up 10. And the S&P 500 down about a half point. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
15 million people across the country are under flood alerts along the Gulf Coast. Torrential downpours slamming into southern Louisiana dumped up to a half foot of rain. In Morgan City, Louisiana, pump stations are the best protection from flash flooding. And near New Orleans, people have been filling sandbags to protect their homes and their neighbors.
Making sure that my neighbors are okay, because a lot of the elderly don't have cars. They can't get out here to get sandbags.
I think that we all need to be prepared during hurricane season, and this is part of it.
Crews have also been clearing catch basins and draining canals to prepare for flooding. In an apparent reversal, the Trump administration is moving forward with a critical flash flood risk database. That's according to a NOAA official and an internal email seen by CNN. This database would, for the first time, take climate change into account when making precipitation frequency estimates. It would help people understand the risk for flash flooding and assist civil engineers, designers, and builders with construction and infrastructure projects. President Trump ordering a new disclosure of information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. This comes as pressure has been mounting for full disclosure from the government. Erica Brown now with the latest from Washington.
I call it the Epstein hoax. As pressure builds for the Trump administration to disclose more information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, President Trump has ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to release pertinent grand jury records, which Bondi says she will request. The president also pushed back on a Wall Street Journal report alleging Trump wrote a birthday note to Epstein in 2003 that included a hand-drawn sketch appearing to show the outline of a nude woman. The Journal reports the letter ends saying, "Happy birthday and may every day be another wonderful secret." Trump called the letter fake, writing on social media, "These are not my words, not the way I talk," and he's threatening to sue the paper and its owner, Rupert Murdoch. The move follows weeks of scrutiny, much of it coming from the president's own supporters.
The sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
Stephen Taylor, a Trump supporter from Western Pennsylvania, says the president's base is demanding what the president promised.
We put you in office. You ran on this platform. You offered it. We didn't ask for it. And now we want it. We demand it. You know, I mean, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be justice.
Republicans on Capitol Hill are pushing for more transparency from the Trump administration on the Epstein files, advancing a resolution out of a House committee calling for the Justice Department to release more information about the case.
Every single one of the Republicans on the Rules Committee are for transparency and for releasing the files, just as the President of the United States is, and they wanted that to make crystal clear.
We obviously want the files released. We want every name that's on there to be held accountable.
Democrats voted against a resolution because it's non-binding. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
A federal judge will still have to approve any release of grand jury material, and it could take time to review the material to ensure that Epstein's victims are protected. Well, the Republican-led House cleared a bill that claws back $9 billion from the federal budget. $1.1 billion will be stripped from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which helps fund NPR and PBS. And about $8 billion will be taken from foreign aid programs. USAID was one of the first agencies targeted by DOJ. With staffing decimated, nearly 500 metric tons of emergency aid food is set to expire this month and will be destroyed at taxpayer expense.
It takes a lot of people, a lot of workers, a lot of contracts to move this food around the world. And all of those people were laid off. All of the USAID programs were suspended.
House Speaker Mike Johnson hinted at further federal funding cuts, describing rescissions as an ongoing quest. A chance for storms overnight. The rest of the weekend, though, looking pretty dry. Meteorologist Blaze Keller now with a full story.
That's right. We are looking at drier conditions as we head further into Saturday. We should be dry for the most part for the second half of the day. We stay dry for Sunday, adding back some sunshine as well. And then next week, we enter what we call a ring of fire pattern, and we're going to talk all about what that really means in just a moment. But our rain chances pick up here, as we mentioned at the top of the hour, after the midnight hour, going into Saturday, and we could see some severe weather. We are going to be dealing with some strong winds and potentially some heavy rain through the first half of Saturday, especially through at least the mid-morning hours. We dry out as we go into Sunday, and then those rain chances pick back up as we head into next week. What are we looking at in terms of total rain over the next 7 days? Anywhere between a half in the dark blue here to isolated spots nearing an inch and a half up towards La Crosse. And this will change a little bit between now and by the time we get through the July 25th timeframe. But this is just estimating how much rain we could see. And a lot of this will likely fall here tonight and then as we go into early parts of next week. We don't necessarily need all this rain. We made some great improvements on the drought, especially across southern Wisconsin, now really limiting the moderate drought conditions to just Kenosha County. Less than 1% of Wisconsin suffering from those moderate drought conditions. So we actually could stand to dry out a little bit and not see as much rain chances over the next 7 days and beyond. But Mother Nature has a different plan for us, setting us up underneath this ring of fire pattern. So our rain chances over the next 6 to 10 days, looking anywhere between 40 to 50% towards being rainier than average. And then that dwindles as we go further towards the south and west to about a 30 to 40% chance for the rest of Wisconsin and further to the west. Perhaps we start to dry out as we get into the start of August, or at least scale back that increased rain chance. So maybe we see the ring of fire pattern starting to break down here as we go into the start of August. So this could be maybe a week to a week and a half setup. And what I mean, and what Alex has been talking about over the last couple of days, is this ring of fire pattern is essentially a strong blocking high pressure system in the upper levels of the atmosphere off to our south. And because high pressure systems act, and I can hear everybody saying it at home because I've said it a couple of times now, like a big weather bubble, low pressure systems, they can't move through southern parts of the United States as well. So where do they travel? Along the jet stream. This is the ring, or on the outside of that weather bubble, the high pressure system. And the fire in this case are these low pressure systems that are going to continue to just travel along the jet stream, which will be right over parts of Wisconsin. So as long as this pattern sets up, which likely will be all of next week and possibly into at least the first half of the following week, we're going to be possibly dealing with these scattered showers and thunderstorms, heavy rain, potentially some isolated severe weather events as well. So make sure you're staying with News 3 Now. We'll, of course, keep you updated. And I would be remiss if I didn't touch on the last time Wisconsin recorded an F5 tornado. That was in Oakfield there in Fond du Lac County nearly 30 years ago to the day. The tornado touching down just after 7 o'clock here. Thankfully, there were no deaths. There were about 12 to maybe 17 injuries. It caused more than $40 million worth of damage. It was on the ground for only 30 minutes with estimated peak winds of 265 miles per hour. That tornado reaching that F5 status as it moved off towards the east of Oakfield. Because of those strong winds and heavy rain tomorrow, we're just going to have that alert day for the first half of Saturday. And then, Eric, as I've been mentioning, rainy as we go throughout next week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. And after the break at 5, West Nile virus on the rise across the country. What symptoms you should be on the lookout for? That's coming up.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
New research shines a light on why many Americans are frustrated with health insurers. Denials for prescription drugs by private insurance companies shot up 25% between 2016 and 2023. The medical data company Komodo Health studied more than 4 billion claims. Some experts say artificial intelligence may have contributed to claim denials. Several health insurers, including United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and Anthem, all declined to comment. Concerns are growing over the rise of West Nile virus cases across the country. So far this year, 50 cases of the mosquito-borne disease have been reported in at least 16 states. About half are described as severe. Even though it is a common disease, a new CDC study finds only 1 in 4 providers can correctly diagnose the virus.
The key here is to use mosquito repellents with DEET or Picardin. It's the same kind of advice we give you really for any mosquito-borne illness, for ticks. It's not really any different. And I think the key here is to be aware that there's even West Nile in your area.
Common symptoms of West Nile include fever, headache, body aches, and vomiting. In a small percentage of cases, symptoms can affect the nervous system and lead to encephalitis or meningitis. Blaze Keller's back. Final check of your weekend forecast when we come back.
Big health insurance changes are coming for 24 million Americans. Who, when, and what will it cost? Our Dr. John LaPook has answers. And Steve Hartman goes on the road in Colorado. That's where he met a veteran scarred by combat but healed by a carousel. It's a story of how compassion can make the world go round. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up in a half hour, we'll have continuing coverage after a man is charged in the death of a missing Dodgeville woman. We'll have that and more coming up tonight. News 3 now at 6. Blaze is back as we take one final check of the forecast.
Yes, we do have an isolated to scattered chance for severe weather after midnight tonight through the, I would say, 10 o'clock hour on Saturday. We'll take future track into Saturday morning. Those showers and thunderstorms coming out of the La Crosse area between 2 and 3, impacting kind of the Dane County area between 6 and about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe as early as 5. And all that pushes out of here by the time we go into that 10, 11 o'clock time frame on Saturday. Strong winds as well as heavy rain and hail are going to be our main threats. Jacob will have you covered tomorrow morning, and then we dry out for the rest of Saturday and remain dry and cooler for Sunday.
All right, Blaze, thank you. CBS Evening News is next. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 now at 6. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+.